Hello, Funbridge players. I am Gavin Wolpert, and I am back to be your Masterclass teacher for February. So February's topic is past hand bidding, as you can see. I've broken this class up into 5 different sections. We're going to start by talking about recognizing a past hand. And this might seem like a ridiculous section because you say, well, what do you mean recognize a past hand? My partner passed. Of course, they're a past hand. That's true. Obviously, when you pass as the dealer, you're a past hand. But there are times where you can't quite call somebody a past hand, even though their first bid was a pass. And so we're going to talk through that. Then we're going to zip through the second section where I talk about defining a past hand, and that is more where I'm going to talk about what we need to open the bidding. We'll go very quick through there. Then we're going to go through bidding as a past hand, because lots changes once you are already a past hand. When you can't have 12 points in your hand anymore, you can be very aggressive with those 9 to 11 point hands, and we're going to talk through that. Then we're going to talk about some changes when partner is a past hand, how we have to adjust our strategy when we know partner cannot have an opening hand. Finally, we're going to go through some past hand tools. I'm going to talk to you about the basics of reverse drury, and we're going to talk about fit jumps, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a warning because one of the hands of the practice hands, I couldn't figure out how to get the robot to not play the French system of one of a major 2-no, so I'm going to go through it with you so that you're prepared for one of the practice hands in the 10-hand set. Now, if you are an advanced player and want to learn about expert strategy as past hands, I have a class on my website, wolpertbridge.com, called Reverse Drury and Past Hand Bidding. Now, in that class, I go in detail into what experts play over reverse drury. I get into the nitty-gritty of the follow-ups and the rest of my past hand structure. So that's for more advanced players. All right, let's get to this. We're going to define a past hand or recognize as a past hand. So this is just an example I wanted to show you where our right-hand opponent has opened 1 diamond, and it is our bid. We have 14 high card points, and with our 14 count, we would like to bid, but we don't have a bid with this hand. We have 4 hearts, so we can't overcall 1 heart. We only have 14, which is not strong enough for a 1-no trump overcall. And if we try to make a takeout double, what's our partner going to do? They're going to bid spades, so we can't make a takeout double. So some hands are strong when the opponent's open that you want to bid, but you don't have a bid. And so you've got to get in the habit of recognizing that this is not a bid, not making a takeout double, and then trying to figure out what happens when partner bids a spade, because you won't have a good bid to make after double pass 1 spade. And if you think, well, why can't I just retreat to 1-no trump? Then you need to Google power doubles. You need to understand that when you double and then you bid again on your next turn, that would tell partner, forget the message of my takeout double. I have a huge hand. So look that up if you don't know what a power double is. Google power doubles, or again, check my website. Okay, so this hand has no bid, and the sooner you understand that this hand has no bid, the better it'll be for you at the table. When I open a diamond and my left-hand opponent starts thinking, they're looking for a bid. They can't figure out what to bid. They've got a good hand, but they don't know what to bid. And they think, and they think, and they think. And finally they pass. Well, I know exactly what's going on. They have too many diamonds to bid. I know that they have the points, and I know that they have the wrong shape to act. So now for the rest of the hand, I can play the hand, and I'm going to know those little details. And sometimes they might even ask, what's 1 diamond? How many diamonds does 1 diamond promise? Because sometimes they'll have long diamonds and have that same problem. So not only do you want to recognize that this is not you don't have a bid on this hand, you want to start to do this routinely so that you don't give away any information to your opponents. So this is not a passed hand. We are not a passed hand. We are passing at our first turn, but we are not a passed hand. And that can get even more extreme. I just wanted to show you another example. Now we even have 16 points, and our right-hand opponent has opened our suit. So we don't have a bid. We can't bid over 1 heart. So when you pass after the opponent's open the bidding, you are not a passed hand. So if you're trying to draw inferences like you're playing a hand out and say, hey, they're a passed hand, they can't have this many points. Well, that is not a passed hand. Just going to show you on a map of a table, the dealer, South was the dealer, they passed. They're a passed hand. And from that, we can deduce that they do not have 12 points in their hand, and they probably don't have a good 11-point hand. But when it goes a club pass and their partner the North passes, North is not a passed hand. Not a passed hand. They are just they just have a hand that couldn't act over a club. So they might have a strong hand with too many clubs to act. So now let's get into just how light do we open. I kind of just touched on it about the 12-point thing. I just want to give you an example of a garbage 12-point hand. Here we have 12, we're 4, 3, 3, 3. I open every single 12-point hand. And I think you should too. If you're trying to nitpick and not open with 12-point hands, what ends up always happening is you don't open, and then the rest of the auction, you're trying to catch up. You end up doing too much with your 12-point hand, and partner thinks you don't have 12 points. So it's really important we're opening all 12-point hands. Next, let's talk about 11 points, because sometimes we do open with 11 as well. And this is a classic 11-point hand that we would open. We have 11 points. We have two nice a 5-card suit and a 4-card suit. We have an easy rebid. We can open a club. Our partner is going to bid a red suit, very likely, and we can bid a spade. We can bid this hand nicely, and our trick-taking potential with this 11-point hand is just as good as the trick-taking potential from the previous hand. So, or better, in fact. So, but for this, I apply the rule of 20. If you haven't heard of the rule of 20, it is you take your high card points and you add it together with the length of your two longest suits. So in this case, we have 5 clubs and 4 spades is 9 plus 11 high card points, rule of 20. That makes it an opening bid. All right. And finally, I just wanted to show you a different 11 count where I wouldn't open. It's the exact same hand we just looked at, but the suits are in a different order. And so here, I have 11. I would open a diamond. If I open a diamond, rather, and my partner bids a spade, what is my second bid? My choices are to rebid a 5-card diamond suit and potentially play a 5-1 fit, or bid a no trump with a singleton. I have a terrible, terrible rebid. So before I open aggressively, I ask myself, how is this hand going to bid out? And if I don't think that it's going to bid in a nice way, I'll just pass. I don't need to open. Nobody says you have to open with 11 points in rule of 20. So I'm making a plan. With this hand, my hope is that the opponents will bid spades and I'll get to make a takeout double. Because then I'll be able to bring hearts into the picture, I'll bring diamonds into the picture, and even clubs could be our fit. So that's my hope on this hand. All right, so that's it for just talking about opening style. Just wanted to throw that out there so that you know I open all 12 counts, a lot of 11 counts when I like my trick-taking potential. And when your partner is a passed hand, you can deduce they don't have 12 points and they don't have a good 11-point hand. So now we're going to talk about being a maxed passed hand. So once we've already passed, 9 to 11 is our new maximum. That's the most we can have. So I'm going to talk through a few situations. So this is the first one. It goes, we pass and they open a club and partner overcalls 1 spade. Now over 1 spade, we have 9 points and we also have a doubleton club. I like to give myself an extra point for that doubleton club because I'm supporting partner in spades. And I believe that my partner roughing a club in my hand is going to be an extra trick that when you count 9 points for this hand, it's not doing this hand's enough justice. So I have 2 ways to raise my partner in spades. I can either make a simple raise of 2 spades, or I can Q-bid. I can bid a 2-club Q-bid. And so what I'm telling you is that as a passed hand, I would upgrade this hand to a Q-bid because I know my partner's not going to think I have 12. They're not thinking 11, 12. They're thinking more 9 to 11. And this is a perfect hand to show a good raise. I have 2 aces, I have a working doubleton, and maybe my 5-card suit might have some value. We'll see. But anyway, it's very important that you're upgrading by the fact that you are a passed hand. The next thing, it goes pass, pass, and partner opens a spade. And now it goes 2-club overcall. Now, in order to bid 2 hearts here, you need to show 10 or more. It shows 10 or more points. But as a passed hand, you can't really have 12. And even 11 with a 5-card major is really unlikely because if most hands that have a 5-card major are 5-4, and then they would qualify for the rule of 20. And I would tell you that I actually open all 11 counts that have a 5-card major in them. I didn't bring that up in the first section, but I would. So for me, I can't even have 11 points when I have 5 hearts. So our choices here are to make a negative double, which would only show 4 hearts. Or we can bid 2 hearts, which would show 5 hearts and a maximum passed hand. Now, I look at this hand, like the ace, jack, 10 of hearts are very, very strong. That's much better than even just not having the 10 of hearts would make this hand significantly less powerful, less trick-taking potential. And I also love the fact that my king of spades is in partner's suit. So I have all my points look like they're useful. I have the king doubleton of my partner's suit, and I have a very nice trick-takey type of heart suit. So because I'm a passed hand, I would upgrade this hand and bid 2 hearts. It shows 10 points, but partner knows that 10's the most I can have, and we're not going to wait for 10 points exactly for a 2-heart bid. Okay, another one. So, and this is again, it's a similar situation. We pass, and they open 2 diamonds, and partner overcalls 2 spades. And here we have 2 ways to raise partner. We could either bid 3 spades showing 6 to 9 points, or we could bid 3 diamonds to show partner a good raise. And again here we have 8 high card points, and a doubleton diamond. So the doubleton diamond, I like the doubleton diamond because there's a good chance that partner's going to be able to trump a diamond in my hand. Decent chance, because they didn't raise diamonds. I also have 4 trumps, which is way better than having 3 trumps. And I have the ace queen of hearts. And if there is a heart finesse, I think the heart finesse is onside because there's a weak 2-bidder on my left. So all that, plus the fact that partner knows I don't have 12 points, would make me upgrade this hand to a cubid. And just you can see on the right-hand side here, not that you can read the whole text while you're watching the video, but this is what I would make a simple raise with, where I have the queen third of trumps, an ace of hearts, and a doubleton. So this hand has this hand down here has an extra trump and the queen of hearts. Those are 2 huge features of the hand. So we can't be bidding 3 spades with both of these 2 hands. It's just too wide of a range. So we upgrade, and we are allowed to upgrade because we are a passed hand. Okay, another one. Fine. This is the last one of this little section. Is now we pass, and they opened a heart, and it went pass, pass, and we balanced with 1 spade, and our partner cubid with 2 hearts. And this is an interesting one. So we are a passed hand. So because we're a passed hand, we can't have another point. Even if we had another jack, this hand would qualify for that rule of 20 that we were talking about. So this is the best hand we could have. Partner's 2-heart cubid, while we learn that bid shows 11 or more points. In reality, partner should never be cubidding because we're a passed hand. They shouldn't be inviting us to game. The fact that they've invited us to game means they want to go to game opposite our maximum. And here, this is our maximum. So it's very important that we understand the context. Hey, I showed it 1 spade. I bid 1 spade, but partner's inviting me to game. But I have the best hand that I could have. So I'm going to accept game and bid 4 spades. So you really have to adapt your mindset and understand the range that you're in when you make a bid. And given the fact that you've already capped your strength, it's very important that you now adjust and become very aggressive when partner invites you to game. So that's it for that section. 9 to 11 is our new maximum. The 2 or 3 key points. The first one was be aggressive to cubid. And the second point is be aggressive to make it 2/1 in competition to show your suit. And finally, if partner invites you, understand that your top of your range is 10 or 11 points. Okay, so now let's talk about how our bidding changes when we know partner is a passed hand. Some meanings of bids change and our options change a little bit. So this first hand, it goes pass, pass to us, and we have this nice 11-point hand. I would open this 11-point hand in any seat, any vulnerability. We have our points in our long suits. We have also rule of 20, 5 spades and 4 diamonds is 9 plus 11 high card points. So it's an opening bid in any seat, but it's a minimum opening bid, of course. So it goes 2 clubs on our left, and partner bids 2 hearts, 2/1 in competition. So this bid normally would show 10 or more points and 5 or more hearts. But because partners are passed hand, we know that they have an absolute upper limit of their hand. So it's not forcing anymore. Once we know partners does not have an unlimited hand, their bid becomes non-forcing. Inherently, that's what a forcing bid is partner could have a good hand and they don't want us to pass. But here, partner doesn't care if we pass because partner has 10 points. And so we have 11. So we know that we don't have a game. So this is a perfect opportunity. We don't have a club stopper. We don't really want to rebid our 5-card spade suit. We don't want to introduce diamonds at the 3 level because bidding 3 diamonds, it's not the end of the auction, and we don't really want to propel this hand up to a higher level, and we may not have a better fit. So the point is that when partners have passed hand, we are allowed to pass. We're no longer forced to bid, so we should pass. Now, that same concept can be applied at the one level, where we open a diamond in third seat. And here, this is again a normal opening bid, 12 points. We would open a diamond in any seat, but now it goes past a spade, and we have such a bad hand. We don't have enough to really raise partner to 2 spades, but because we only have 3-card support for one thing, and we don't really want to raise on 3-card support. And rebidding 1 no trump is fine. We could rebid 1 no trump, but it looks like playing 1 spade is going to be better than playing 1 no. Even if it's a 4-3 fit, there's a decent chance I'm going to be able to get to ruff a club on my side for an extra trick. And partner may have 5 or 6 spades for all we know. Probably not 6 because they didn't open a weak 2-bit, but they very often will have 5 spades, and 1 spade will play better. The other thing is that when we bid 1 no, sometimes partner will make an invitational bid, and then that's going to send the auction even higher. So the nice thing about pass is it gets across to partner that we have a bad hand. So even if the opponent's bid, we won't get too high. But partner should know that we have 3 spades, and that's going to be important for one of the upcoming hands. Now, we've opened even a little bit lighter with only 11 points. And this is a hand that we probably would not have opened in a different chair. But because we're in third seat, we were willing to open that. And we're going to get a little bit more into that as this class continues. Is that when we were allowed to open light in third chair. So this hand is a hand I would not open in another seat, maybe fourth chair, and we'll talk about that too. But in first or second seat, I would not open this 11-point hand. Now it's going to diamond pass a spade. Now this time I have 4-card support for partner. But the thing is, again, if we bid 2 spades, that's not going to be necessarily the end of the auction. There's also a good chance partner might invite. In fact, I think partner is going to invite because we only have 11, and neither one of the opponents has bid. So it sounds like the points are kind of split evenly around the table, which means partner probably has like 10 or 11 points, and we'll have a close decision of whether to invite. So again, we don't need to bid, so we can pass. We are not going to make a game, so we pass. Now, just to say, this is from partner's perspective now. This is very important because when it does go past a diamond from partner and it goes past, and we respond to spade and it goes past and partner passes, that pass, this pass that partner makes here of 1 spade, we actually know partner has 3 spades for us when they pass. They wouldn't be passing us in a 4-2 fit. They would simply rebid 1 no trump. So we know partner's got 3 spades. So even though the opponents have reopened double and they're planning to compete, with our 5-card spade suit, it's really important that we compete to the 2 level. This is a very important spot that I see people mess up all the time, that they don't compete here with 5 spades because they're not really registering the fact that partner's pass of 1 spade absolutely means that they have 3 spades with us. So you should be more aggressive to compete there with 5 spades. Okay, next thing, opening light in third seat. So in third seat, we're allowed to open light. Why are we allowed to open light in third seat is the question. Well, because it's a very good spot to be destructive. What's going to happen is when we open in third seat, we know our partner doesn't have an opening hand. So the worst thing that partner can do to us is invite us to game. And that's not a big deal. If partner invites us to game, we will decline the invitation. So we are allowed to open light, but we have to have a purpose for opening light. You want to think about, why am I opening light? And what I will tell you is that for me, the number one reason I will ever open light is because I want the suit led that I'm opening. So here's a random 8 count that we, of course, would not open in any other seat. And some people might decide to open a weak 2-bid with a 5-card suit. I haven't found that to work for me very well in practice. I find that opening 1 is more effective. It allows us to use drury, which I'm going to talk about later in this set. It gives partner a way to invite us, but keeping it low. And I like to open light when I want the lead, because very often when you open light, the opponents are going to end up winning the contract, and your partner is going to lead the suit that you open. So that's kind of the reason that I have. I'm not just generally destructive, and you will run across people in your bridge careers that open all sorts of garbage in third chair. And okay, it's going to work sometimes for them, and it's going to not work sometimes for them. But I don't particularly like playing that style. I like to play a slightly more constructive while having a bit of destruction in my game. I don't like to be completely reckless. So when I open light in third chair, it's almost always because I want the suit led. So here I would open 1 spade with this hand. And the basic idea, as you see from the title, is partner won't hang you. Now, on the other hand, though, if I have another 10 count, with weak hearts, I am not, it's my style not to open light with a hand like this. And again, this is a very close one. When I was trying to define this hand, I tried to put it right on the bubble. So if you would open this hand, it's totally cool to open this hand one heart. But my style in general, and that I wanted to illustrate that point with a hand that's close to an opening bid but has a weak suit, that I tend not to open when the suit I'm opening with is not a good hand. What I like is for when I open light in third chair and the opponents get to a game, for my partner to know that the suit that they're supposed to lead is the I was opening because I want my partner to lead. So that's my style, but you can have your own style, and there's nothing wrong with being more aggressive, but it is important that both you and your partner are on the same page for how you open light. And it's also very important that the opponents are aware, because you can't just open every hand and not tell the opponents, hey, we open a garbage in third chair. So you really have to be vocal and verbal to the opponents. But when they ask you how light do you open in third chair, you say, oh, my partner opens all sorts of garbage. You can't believe the garbage hands that he opens. You have to be very forthcoming with that stuff. Okay. So I would pass, and then just I want to talk about so like being prepared for responses. So here I do want a diamond lead, and if I open a diamond and my partner bids a heart, I can comfortably pass one heart. If I open a diamond and my partner bids a spade, I can comfortably pass one spade. And even if my partner bids one no trump, I'm okay. And to be honest with you, even if my partner bids two clubs, I don't really care. That means partner's got 5 clubs and 10 points, and we can play 2 clubs. So on this hand, I'm prepared for all responses from partner. So I'm totally willing to open light for the lead on a hand like this. One bid and done is the idea. So, and then I just wanted to say that this hand's a little even better. It's a better hand. I have 11 points this time instead of 10. But now if I open my hand a diamond or a heart, if that's what you like to do, then partner's very often going to respond to spade. And over spade, I don't have a good answer. I could then rebid one no trump. But here I look at the vulnerability and I say, you know, I'm vulnerable, and I don't think it's going to be a great idea for us to play a vulnerable one no trump. So with this hand, again, I would not open light because I don't have a good rebid over one spade. So just to summarize, why we open light in third seat, we open all normal opening bids. We would open, of course. We don't change in that regard. And then if the fact that partner's limited to 11 points means they're not going to force the game. So that gives us a little bit of leeway that we can open a little bit lighter. And the reasons that we want to open light are, 1 is we want the suit led that we were opening. 2, we have complete control of the auction, and no matter what partner response, we're going to be happy. And finally, the last one is if you have nice distribution and you do want to compete for the part score, so then sometimes it's okay to open light even with a weaker hand or a weaker suit. So you have to look at your hand, decide how you want the auction to go, and then make a decision of whether to open light. So when we're opening light in third chair, we're doing that in part because there's still an opponent behind us, and we're not expecting the hand to get passed out. So we can open light and try to make their lives more difficult, and while also helping partner lead the right suit. In fourth seat, we would not open light in the same way as we would in third seat, because in the fourth seat, we could simply pass the hand out when we have a weak hand. So fourth seat, of course, we're going to open all of our normal opening bids, but then the question comes, when should we open light in fourth seat? So this is a typical fourth seat position. It goes 3 passes to us, and we have a 10 count. Now, when we have 10 points in fourth chair, we know a lot about what's going on in the hand because nobody has 12. So that means everybody at the table has like 10 or 11 points or 9 points. So what this is it's a split deck hand, meaning partner and I have half the points and the opponents have half the points. Split deck hands are typically competitive decisions, right? And so, like competitive battles. And when you have a competitive battle and you're battling for the part score, the spade suit usually wins. So experts and just basically the bridge community has adopted a general philosophy for fourth chair when you have a close opening bid, and that's called the rule of 15. And the rule of 15 takes into account the spade suit when you're deciding whether to open. You take your high card points, in this case 10, plus the number of spades you have, in this case 5. And that if that total comes to 15, then you're okay to go ahead and open light. Now, so this hand is a perfect example of, yes, we would want to open light because our partner and I have half the deck, they have half the deck, but we have the spade suit. So if the opponents are going to want to compete with us, they're going to have to go to the 3 level over spades. And so they might go down if they only have half the deck. Now, it can be wrong. You can open and they can compete and it can be their hand and it's going to work out badly. But you'll have company since most people apply the rule of 15 in fourth chair. So the next hand is an 11 count that I actually might open in certain spots. Like if I was in first chair and I was non-vulnerable, I would probably open this hand. It's a nice rule of 20. If it qualifies for the rule of 20, all these rules I'm giving you today. I have 11 high card points, plus my two longest suits are 5 and 4. So 11 plus 9 is 20. So I can open this hand by the rule of 20. But I know that I don't have the majors. It's not even just spades. I also don't have hearts. So there's just a really good chance that the opponents are going to be able to compete over our part score. And we're not going to go plus on the hand. So with this hand, because I don't have the rule of 15 and it's a close hand, I would pass. Now, with that said, with all of this said about the rule of 15, the one thing that I do want to drill home is if your hand looks like an opening bid, open the bidding. Don't rely on the rule of 15 as the only reason why you would open. You can't have a 14 count with a singleton spade and not open. Because the more points you have, the 13 points, the 14 points, then your partner could have 10 and you have the balance of the points. And then you have 23 or 24 points between you and your partner. Now, so then, and then it's not going to, you're going to go plus because you have so many more high cards than the opponents. So the rule of 15 breaks down a little bit as you get to have a better hand. So if you have really good playing strength or you have a really solid opening bid, don't worry about the rule of 15. The rule of 15 is to help you on close decisions. So the only other thing that's interesting in fourth chair is about opening bids is the fact that we would never open a weak 2 bid. So when it goes 3 passes to us, if you have 7 points and 6 hearts, you're not opening 2 hearts. You're happily passing the hand out because it's not your hand. You have 7. Everybody else would have 11. And so then it would go, it's the opponents have 22 and you and partner have 18. So you would not open a weak 2 bid in fourth chair. So since we do not need weak 2 bids, the world shifts to use something called intermediate weak 2 bids or intermediate 2s, where a 2 heart opening still looks in texture the same as a weak 2 heart bid, but it shows 10 to 14 points. And what this 2 heart bid does is 2 things. One is it shows our hand nicely, but 2, it also makes it more difficult for the opponents to come in with the spade suit. Like maybe they could overcall a hand with 1 spade because they had 7 or 8 points, but at the 2 level, they can't because it's too expensive and too dangerous. They don't know they're going to catch a fit from their partner. For all they know, when we're going to open 2 hearts, they are going to make an aggressive 2 spade overcall, and our partner will be there waiting for them. So that would be wonderful if that was so. So that we put a lot more pressure on the opponents by opening this hand 2 hearts. So now let's talk about reverse drury. So reverse drury is a very commonly played convention. I would say it's played by all experts and most advanced players. It's a tool we use in third and fourth seat to kind of take care of the fact that we sometimes open light in third seat. And so here, let's just talk through a hand. So it's gone pass, and partner's opened a spade, and we have a 9 count. But remember, in the context of being a passed hand, 9 to 11 is a maximum. This is the best hand we can have. So we have a 9 count, and I actually would give myself an extra point for a doubleton because I'm supporting my partner, and I expect my partner might be able to ruff a diamond in my hand. So I'm going to give myself an extra point and call this even a 10 count. And so I want to make a limit raise with this hand. I want to tell partner I like my hand and I've got a support for them. But I don't want to go to the 3 level because I don't want to hang partner for having to invite. So I could raise to 2 spades to just show 6 to 9 points. But I want to show partner that I've got a good hand. And so instead, I'm going to use the convention of drury, which is 2 clubs. And so what 2 clubs allows you to do is it lets you stop lower. It lets partner say, no, I don't accept your limit raise and stopping in 2 instead of having to go through some process that ends you at the 3 level. So it's a really, really, really useful tool. And it's funny, the person who invented it, they were such aggressive opening bidders that they would often open a spade in third chair and their partner would invite to 3 spades and they would go down and their partner would say like, why are you opening so light? And they would say, well, hey, but I wanted to get in their way. Why do we have to be in 3? And that's how they kind of invented this tool that lets them say, hey, let me bid 2 clubs and raise my partner and show a good hand. And then we can stop in 2. Now, I'm a big believer in being very aggressive to use drury. And if you want to learn more about my thoughts as far as how aggressive to be with drury, I've done, as I said earlier in this webinar, that I've done an elaborate lesson on my full thoughts of reverse jury on my website. And you can go to wolpertbridge.com and go to the lesson library and search for reverse jury, and you'll find it there. It's got a lot of very, very detailed advanced thoughts about why I believe we should be bidding jury even more aggressively than this 9 to 11 that I'm describing here. Now, when we have 9, so this is the idea behind the convention, is partners open a spade, we bid 2 clubs, which partner alerts and they ask what is it, and say partner's showing a fit in spades and a maximum passed hand. Partner bids 2 diamonds, that says they're still interested in game. That gives us a little bit of leeway. We can either sign off in 2 spades when we have a minimum, or we can go to game when we have a maximum. Here we have 9, which in the context of 9 to 11 is a minimum. So we can easily just stop by bidding 2 spades. There's no need for us to do more. We've already told partner about our hand. But and just from the other side, when you have 13 points and you're not really sure if partner's got a good hand or not, you're like, I'm not sure if I want to invite, or I want to go to game or not over jury. You can just bid 2 diamonds, and then partner will kind of tell you if they're on the low end, they're going to bid 2 spades, or if they're on the high end, they're going to go to game. And so here is just an example of when partner's got a really good jury. And here they have 4 cards in support, and they have a nice 10 count and a doubleton. That's like about as good a hand as you're going to find for jury. And so over 2 diamonds with this hand, we would go to game. We would say, oh, partner, you're somewhat interested in game. Okay, let's go to game. And some people play 2-way jury. It's fine. If you and your partner like to play 2-way jury, that's where you separate 3-card support from 4-card support. All good. Whatever you and your partner can remember is perfect. So I don't have a strong opinion about it. I do typically play only 1-way jury because I actually like the idea of hiding from my opponents how many trumps that we have. I think that it makes the defense for 4 spades a lot more difficult when they don't know whether they're leading against a 9-card fit or an 8-card fit. And I also find that it makes it harder for them to compete. When you play 3, when your jury could have 3 or 4 cards, it makes, when you show 4-card support, the opponents know they can push you up a level. So I like not having that happen. I like them to have a little ambiguity and knowing they're not as safe to push us up one level. Okay. So the important points there are just be aggressive to use it because you can stop easily at the 2 level, and that 2 diamonds shows some game interest. It's not just an opening hand. If you have a really bad opening hand that has no interest in game, you should just sign off in 2 of a major. All right. Last tool is fit showing jumps, which is something that I would put much lower on my list of conventions that I would add to my repertoire. Drury, really important. Fit showing jumps, less so. But this is a commonly played tool in the world. Most people play fit showing jumps by passed hands, and a lot of experts are adding it in other situations too. But by passed hands, you might as well play fit jumps because you don't really need strong jumps, obviously, because you're a passed hand, or weak jumps because you would have opened a weak 2 or a weak 3 or whatever. So that's the idea behind playing fit showing jumps by passed hands. And just show you what they are. Pass, pass, a spade, pass. A fit showing jump shows a 9-card fit for partner and a side suit. But there's a critical component. The side suit's got to be good quality. We want to have points in our suits. So when you make a fit jump, and that's what we would do, is we jump to 3 hearts here. It tells partner, I have 5 hearts at least, 4 spades at least, and I have good suits, so that you know where my values lie. And that can often help partner get to aggressive games or even slams. And there's a good example of one of these in the practice hands afterwards. Now, just to show you, I would not make a fit showing jump with this hand. When I have weak hearts, I don't want to misrepresent my hand for my partner. So fit showing jumps really are going to show a good quality suit, particularly in the side suit. You have to really want to show that side suit. And so 5 little hearts is just not good enough to show a fit jump. So this one we can just use drury. Okay, last thing before I let you check out. This is something that I wanted to warn you about. It is not something I play, but you're going to come across it in the practice hands. It is a French tool, which is actually pretty interesting. It's not something that I've really dealt with or played before, and I'm not even sure it's French. I just know this came these hands came from a French source, so that might not be French. It might be entirely European or something. It's definitely not a North American tool. And so they play a spade pass 2-no trump, shows 4-card support and a singleton somewhere. And it has value. There's definitely it definitely can, that way, most of the time partner can just jump to 4 spades and not say what the singleton is, or maybe they can bid 3 spades to sign off because they don't care what singleton is. But just so you know, for when the hand comes up in the lesson, that over Tuno Trump, if you want to know what partner's 3 singleton is, you bid 3 clubs. That's going to ask partner, where is your singleton? So I wanted to leave you with that. I didn't want you going in blind. You'll see when I came across the hand, I had no idea what it was. The hand, I started practicing and playing the hand and recording myself doing the hand, and suddenly the robot did bid 2-0. I'm like, what is this? It showed 4 card support. Anyway, so that's it. That is our masterclass for this month. So thank you very much for joining. If you like my teaching style, I am a teacher on YouTube at Wolpert Bridge, and also on my website. I have lots of elaborate lessons. The lessons, I put my heart and soul into those lessons. They're roughly $10 to $15 each, but I really, really worked hard to make sure that each topic I cover is done thoroughly. When I teach a convention, you'll know that you're getting everything to do with the convention, not just the first round. And yeah, thank you. See you soon.